Page 9. 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 Hey, throw that in the garbage quickly instead of standing there dripping it all over my classroom, please. Get to the garbage. You guys are gonna have to go get more water when you get a chance. Cassie. No thanks. All right, here we go. The result when dividing numbers is called the quotient. So if you ever see find the quotient, that means to divide. So with multiplication, we learned some new ways to write it, right? We used a dot. We used parentheses, right? We won't really be using an X much. Grab one and sharpen it if you need to, otherwise hustle. If we've already written a word and you're still wandering my classroom. Division can be written in many ways. For example, 12 divided by 4 can be written as 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4. Or my favorite, 12 divided by 4. That fraction bar literally means divided by or per. Yes, this is the same thing, guys. I can write a fraction like this, or I could write a fraction like this. Those are the same things. Sometimes we don't have room to write things up and down, right? Or sometimes our computer won't let us write things up and down. All right, so these are kind of bigger ones. We are going to say 21 goes into 819, and it says there's no remainders for this one. Notice if we have A divided by B, that first number goes inside my division box and the second number goes on the outside, right? If we have A divided by B, A goes on top. We read from top to bottom, so we would read this A divided by B, okay? Okay, so 21, if we count by 21s, 21 plus another 21 would be 42, plus another 21 would be 63, plus another 21 would be, so 84 would be too much, huh? So 3 times was what? We said that was 63. So because 21 cannot go into 8, we moved all the way on to this 81. So we're going to put this 3 above the 1. And we're going to say 21 times 3 is 63. So we have to subtract 63 from this 81. All right, be big kids now. You can still work. Stinky third hour. All right, I can't take 3 from 1, so I have to borrow. 11 minus 3 is 8. 7 minus 6 is 1. Ew, guys, these are horrible. Why do they make these so difficult? All right, so if I bring down my 9, this is long division. Let's try and estimate here. How many times could 2 go into 18? 9. So if I tried 9, 21 times 9, 9 times 9 is, I'm sorry, 9 times 1 is 9, and 9 times 2 is 18. So I can put a 9 here because 9 times 21 is 189. I draw 2 bars. You could also write a 0 down here. Either way, it's fine. There's no remainder here. I know you guys have learned partial sums. You've learned this in multiple different methods. You may totally use partial sums as long as you're able to accurately get the answer. I'm not going to teach partial sums, but I will teach you this new, way. I guess this shouldn't be new. You've seen this way too. All right. 17 is going into this bigger number, 1, 5, 3, 8. Notice I'm not using a comma because I don't want this to be sloppy. 17 can't go into 1, so I move on. 17 can't go into 15, so I move on. So now I'm thinking, how many times can 17 go into 153? Ew. Why are these so ugly? So we can start counting by 17. 2 17s would be 34. We're just gonna start writing these down. 34 plus another 17 is 51. So if this was 2 and this was 3, I almost need 3 3s. So could we try like 9 or 8? Let's try 8 and see what we get. Times 8. This is 56. 8 times 1. That's way too much. 16 plus 5 is 21. So it's not 8. Somewhere between 3 and 8 though. Do you want to try 5? No? 5 is probably not enough. I'll try 6. 17 times 8. Oh, not 8. What am I doing? 6 times 6. 42. 6 times 1 is 6 plus there. That's not enough. Did I do that right? What is happening? What am I doing? $42. 6 times 1 is 6. All right, plus another 17. So how is that? You guys, what am I doing? My brain is not braining today. All right, so this was 2 times. This was 3 times. Plus another 17. So 68 would be 4 times. Plus another 17. So this should be like 85. 85 would be 5 times. Plus another 17. 102 would be 6 times. Plus another 17. 119 would be 7 times. Plus another 17. Why can't I multiply today? My math is not mathing. I like that. All right. So 16. So this should have been 136. What did I do? Oh, I know what I did. 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. I said 8 times 2 and then I added 5. silly me. So I was right, yeah. Yeah. No. All right, so if I add 17 more, I would get 13. Oh my gosh, it goes in evenly, seriously? 9 times. Can I show you how this would have been much easier? Can I show you how this would have been much easier? You have planners, yes. I could have followed my 17 until I got to 153 and then gone up to find my answer. I am unbelievable this morning. Now, the problem does not end here, right? I have an 8, so I would bring down my 8. Can 17 go into 8? No, so it would go in 0 times. So here's where I put my 0. If you wanted to, you could put in a 0 right here because 17 goes into 0 times. You could put in a 0 right here because 17 goes into 15 0 times. But we don't usually do that before the number because it doesn't change the number. But if we left off this 0 here, we would have a problem. 17 times 0 is 0. So I would have a remainder of what? 8. Now, do you remember how to write this remainder as a fraction? This is like 90 and 8 divided by 17. So we take our remainder that goes to the top of our fraction, and what we are dividing by stays on the bottom. Yes. All right, so I think this is probably like the most difficult thing you will have to do like ever. So we're gonna kind of go through these together because thankfully you all have calculators that you will be able to do this with. But if it's more simple, it's good to know these strategies, I think. All right, let's think strategy here. Let's set up our problem and think strategy. How am I gonna attack this? Fill out your planner so that when you want to ask, you can just.
I don't have my.
Oh, bummer. It's an emergency eventually, but you gotta have your planner with you. That's the expectation, girlfriend. All right. Can 64 go into 2? No, so I could kind of put a 0 here. Can 64 go into 27? Also no. Can 64 should be able to go into 275. So if I'm thinking by 60, 6 times what would be close to 27 without going over? 6 times what would be close, Peyton? Yes, so 6 times 4 would be 240. So let's see what that looks like. 6 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 6 is 24. 256. I think this is the closest, guys, focus. I think this is the closest we can get without going over, right? Because if I added another 64, I would definitely be over that. So I'm going to put a 4 above my 5. Staying very neat. Your 4 should not be over here by your 2. You want to be sure you know where we're at. And I'm going to subtract what 4 times 64 was. 256. Back to your subtraction. Please don't put 1 here, right? you have to borrow. This is now a 6. What's 15 minus 6? 9. What is 6 minus 5? 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Now what do I do? Bring down the 2. All right, let's use our same strategy. If we're thinking of this as 60, how can I get close to 190 without going over? Or how can 6 times what gets close to 19 without going over? 2 is 12, but can it get closer? What? 3 would be 18. So let's look at what 64 times 3 would give us. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus that 1 makes, ta-da! So we're going to put our 3 here and show that we have no remainder. What's our answer? No, our answer is not 0. 43. Good. Just because you know how to do the problem doesn't mean you know what the answer is. Okay. 148 is going to go into this number, right? Since I have A divided by B, I'm going to put B on the outside. And that is going to go into A, that first number. Don't worry about your commas right now. This one's ugly, right? 148 doesn't go into 1, it doesn't go into 10, it doesn't go into 103. So it's going into this whole number. Ew. Because it's so ugly. Because I can't look at this and know. I have to like have a mode of attack. You gotta fill it out and then add. All right. What, Avery? Oh, no, I'm not talking to my students. I don't call my students ugly. I might call their behavior ugly sometimes, but not their faces. But this math problem is UGLY. It doesn't have no alibi. You know the answers? She stole your shoe? All right. If this was like, I don't know, just think of it as 100. How many hundreds would go into 1,000? Anybody know how many hundreds would go into 1,000? Well, I would read it like 1000. 1,000 is the same as 1000. So there are 10 hundreds in 1,000, right, Josh? But if I added a 0 here, that would be too much. So I'm thinking maybe like 8 times. Because 9 might still be too much, right? So let's try 8. What's 8 times 8? What's 8 times 4? 32. What's 32 plus 6? 36. Uh-oh, we're going to be too much still. So 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11. Too much. But if I subtract 148 from this, that will give me 7 times, right? That will give me 7 times. We can do this. We got this. We can still do it. We have to persevere. 1, 0. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a remainder. So 7 times is equal to 1016. I have a remainder of 20. Ooh, we get to do more math. Yes. Let's slay this. All right. Let's use this for our example. I'm going to write my first answer without the remainder as my whole number, right? My remainder is going to go on top of the fraction bar. 20 divided by what? 148. What do you notice about 20 and 148? They're both what? Even, which means we can divide them by 2. So I still have a 7. What's 20 divided by 2? 10. What is 14 divided by 2? What's 8 divided by 2? Oh, what do you notice about 10 and 74 again? They're even, so I can divide them by 2. This is the problem that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was. All right, what is 10? What is 10 divided by 2? 5. Okay, here's a tricky one. What is 74 divided by 2? 35 would be 70. Nope, 35 would be 70, so we need 2 more on each side. So 37. This is divisible by 5. This is not. They have no other things in common. So here is our answer. What you need to know is this. This is coming, okay? This is coming. So I think if this follows the same pattern, we're going back and forth and back and forth. All right. You got a few minutes. Spend the rest of this hour. You don't have a ton of time, but make sure you've got your Alex topics done. Most of you should, but if not, get in there and get rolling. Get in there and get rolling. 9 is just not pretty. This page is for the birds. All right.